People in both my online and my hands-on practice are always asking me, what are the things that they can do between sessions to speed up their healing journey? And the short answer to that is anything that speeds up embodiment. But what does that mean? What is embodiment? So in this video, we're going to be talking a lot about what embodiment is, why it's so crucial to your healing journey. It just so happens that I've created an online embodiment course. And so in the process of talking about that, you're going to learn a lot about how things that are necessary to sort of create your own embodiment routine if you don't want to get my course. So if you're feeling stuck in your body or your life, if you want less pain, greater connection, greater flow in your life, you want to feel more connected to your purpose, greater life satisfaction, keep on watching this video. Before we get to the meat of the video though, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Jay Eaker from the BioSoul Integration Center here in Louisville, Colorado, and I help people transform the stuckness in their bodies and lives and express their soul's purpose on the planet. And so if you see this video on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel first of all, and then you might see this somewhere else on Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all the other social media platforms. Please like it, share it, do the social thing there, pass it along to someone who might be interested. I've written a book called If It Didn't Hurt, How to Resolve Your Pain and Discover Your Life Purpose. And it's kind of the ultimate embodiment guide. You can find that on my website at biosoulintegration.com. There you can get the first chapter for free. If you don't want to buy it, also you can buy it. You can buy it in all the forms, audiobook, ebook, paperback. And like I said, I've also created an online course and called the Embodiment, called the Path to Embodiment. It's called the Embodied Path online course. And you can find that on my website at biosoulintegration.com. Look under offerings and you'll find it there. Okay, so let's get into the meat of this. So, like I said, people in my private practice, my online practice, they're always asking, like, what are the things that they can do in between sessions to sort of speed along the healing journey? And that's a fair question because the things that people do on their own, the responsibility that people take on their own for their own embodied healing journey is certainly magnifies, certainly exponentially increases the benefit they get out of the care that I provide here and online. And so, again, the answer to that is really, what can they do to speed up their embodiment? Embodiment is the key. And so, in order to talk about what that means, first of all, I want to talk about what happens, how we get disembodied, how we get disconnected from our bodies. And that starts, and I've kind of in all of my videos pretty much said this a million times, so maybe I'll kind of try to give you the short version of it, but it starts when we're in the womb. The part of our nervous system that comes online when we're in the womb that I call the primal brain, 2 to 4 weeks after conception, this part of the nervous system comes online, and it's just feeling into the back office of the people around us, and it's sensing into the ways that the people around us, that they have disconnected from parts of themselves, that they've pushed parts of themselves away. And so just because we rely on them for our survival, we automatically adopt those same patterns in our system. And when we create those patterns, those programs in our system, part of it is like walling, we judge part of ourselves as not safe, as not okay to feel. And so we wall that part off and we push it away, and we sort of push it away from our awareness. Right? There's this program that gets installed that says, like, I don't want to look at it, I don't want to feel it, I don't want to look at it or feel it or hear it. And so the awareness sort of drains out, and there's this disconnection from important parts of ourselves. These are important parts of ourselves. They have wisdom for our bodies and lives, these parts. And so there's a way in which we are disconnecting from in doing that, we are walling tension off, we are walling parts of ourselves off with tension. We're changing our posture. We're putting a limit on the range and depth of emotion. We're locking ourselves inside of a certain perspective that we tapes that we play in our heads about who we are and why we're here to support those limited survival patterns. And so it sort of stretches across all levels of our being, and our whole experience happens in our body. All of that is happening in our body mind, as they call it. The body and the mind are the same thing. It's all happening in our body, and there's ways in which we're walling parts of ourselves off and pushing them away and not occupying. It means we're not occupying a part of ourselves, right? And so that's a way in which we get disembodied, if you will. And, there's all sorts of problems that can happen as a result of that, because of the fact that I said that it sort of stretches across all levels of our being. It can cause physical problems, organic disease issues, emotional issues, problems, sort of giving our gifts, spiritual issues, sort of giving our gifts and, living our purpose on the planet. And so embodiment certainly involves bringing our attention to our bodies and letting ourselves experience the sensations that we experience there. Kind of like, if it's like in the process of creating these survival programs in our system, it's like we've gone limp. Our awareness has gone limp in a way, and we're not able to access parts of ourself. It becomes automatic, habitual, and automatic that we just don't look at that. And so there's kind of this, it's like embodiment practices are kind of like working out in the gym in a way. You have to sort of strengthen your attention muscles. You have to strengthen your awareness muscles so that you can penetrate your body, your sensations, your being with awareness and with attention. So it's kind of like leaning into awareness, leaning into attention where your body and the sensations there are concerned. And one of the things that happens is, the problems that we encounter as a result of these survival programs that have us disembodied, the problems that arise have a lot to do with resistance. There's a way in which life is constantly nudging us towards our evolution. And that nudging towards our evolution automatically is trying to wake up our awareness. It's trying to get us, it's nudging us towards embodying ourselves. But, there's this resistance there because on the base level, there's this kind of program that says, if I feel this, I'm going to die. The world's not safe if I sort of like connect with this part of myself and express my fullest self. That's the message that we picked up when we were in the womb from those around us, just from the humans, just as a result of being human, really. And so there's resistance to doing that. There's a resistance to connecting with those parts and expressing those fullest parts of ourselves. And so embodiment, bringing your and again, a way in which life is constantly nudging us towards our evolution. And so making the conscious choice to bring our attention to the sensations in our body kind of softens that resistance. On some level, there's not a whole lot we have to do other than that. Life kind of does the rest for us. It nudges us into awareness. We just have to let it happen, and softening that resistance is the key to that. And so embodiment is a key to softening that resistance. Why embodiment? Well, why the heck would we do this? Well, first of all, like I just said, it's kind of a universal imperative. Life is universally trying to nudge us towards expressing our fullest selves and living our purpose on the planet, and towards embodying ourselves. And that's a process that will happen here on this planet until you die. My wife, she's has been a hospice chaplain for many years. She's not a hospice chaplain now, but she has been for many years. And, when people get close to death, there's a lot of suffering, a lot of struggle that happens. And it's because of the way that all of the resistance that's been built up in our system, that resistance kind of has to get squeezed out of us if we're going to transform from this life into the next, transition from this life into the next we can't do it with that resistance intact. And so to sort of like make it through that transition, life then squeezes that out of us in those last moments. And to the extent that we've already done work to be able to navigate that and to soften the resistance in us and embody ourselves, it's going to be easier or harder depending on how much work and our capacity to sort of do that. So it's, again, it's a thing that follows us, a process that life nudges us towards our whole lives. And so, it's kind of like, you might as well get on board with it, right? So, and then again, softening that resistance creates lots of cool stuff in our lives. If you want to have less tension in your body, less pain, greater flexibility on all levels, emotionally, physically, spiritually. If you want to have spiritual insights, you want to feel more flow in your life, you want to make decisions more easily, if you want to speak your voice and express yourself more fully, if you want to honor the parts of you that have needs in any given moment, which is really important in relationship, and helps us connect with ourselves and others and nature and God, and ultimately connects with our gifts and our purpose so that we can sort of accomplish the thing that is we came here to do. So those are good reasons why embodiment. So if maybe you're interested in creating, or maybe you have work that you already do and you're wondering how it sort of adds up, how it sort of helps you or not to embody your soul's gifts and your soul's essence. There are a few characteristics, there are a few check marks that we need to have in an embodiment routine in order for it to be efficient, in order for us to maximize its beneficial effect. And so there's a few things that we gotta have in an embodiment routine. First of all, it's gotta have something to do with your body. It's gotta be about connecting you with your body. And that usually is going to have to involve movement of some kind, some type. It needs to involve breath. When our nervous system goes into defense, when these survival patterns are created in our system, our body shuts breath down to certain areas and it walls things off with muscle tension so that we don't move it. If we don't move it and we don't breathe into it, then we can't really experience what's in there. If we breathe into it and we move it, we have to experience the energy that's in there. So that's why our nervous system said, oh, this is not safe to feel. That's why our nervous system locked it down. It's because it learned that it's not safe to feel. And so it shuts breath down to certain areas, locks things down, locks movement down with muscle tension so that we don't have to experience what's in there. And so any embodiment routine is going to involve breath. It's going to involve movement. And so, of course, there are lots of movement practices around these days, breath work. This is one of the reasons why breath work is becoming so famous. Its capacity to help us connect and embody ourselves is unprecedented. So movement and breath. Then the other factor is mindfulness, the degree to which we can be aware of the sensations, the physical sensations, the emotional sensations, the thoughts, the resistance in our system, the degree to which we can be aware of those things. Mindfulness awareness is a practice of sort of strengthening the muscle of attention, like I mentioned before. So those are three kind of things that are really necessary. Body, connection to your body movement, breath, and then some sort of mindfulness awareness. There's a teacher that I've been following for a long time. His name is Shinzen Young, and he's really cool. He's taken thousands of years of mindfulness practice and kind of boiled them down into their elements, and makes it really easy to get the most out of your mindfulness practice. And you can find his work. He wrote a book called The Science of Enlightenment, and he does they do meditation groups, meditation events, meditation events. I've gone to a number of them over the years. And they also do a cool thing where they do them via phone. You can do it from your own home. It's like being with and getting the benefits of a meditation group, but doing it from your own house. So Shinzen Young, is it just shinzen.org or is it shinzenyoung.org? The Science of Enlightenment. Anyway, look up Shinzen Young. You'll find it. And then other factors are, it's got to be sustainable. So there's a lot of things that people do, like, all right, I'm going to start working out. I got to lose some weight, or I'm going to, start a meditation practice. And often there are reasons that we get into, that prompt us to make movement and make change. And often we kind of like take on more than we can chew. We bite off more than we can chew. And, we start a major workout program that like takes a long time and it just, is really hard on our body, or we start meditating 4 hours a day and, it's like, and then it goes by the wayside because it's like, I can't keep this up, and we, get it in our head that that's the way that we have to do it. But if we can just bite off smaller chunks that are going to be sustainable, right? That you can show up for day in and day out. So it's got to be sustainable. In order to be sustainable, it's got to be simple. It's got to be something that anyone can learn. It's got to be accessible. Something that anyone can do, as I'll talk about in a little bit in my online embodiment course. There are yoga exercises, but these yoga exercises are simple. They're gentle, super gentle. So anyone could do them. Anyone in any fitness level could do them. It's not like you're standing in warrior pose for hours or something like that. You're not even doing warrior pose at all. So it's gentle. It's something that anyone could do. For example, it's got to be convenient. It's got to be something that sort of can fit into your lifestyle, that's sort of flexible that way. Speaking again of the online course that I created, for instance, you can do it, you can do the whole thing in 5 minutes, or you can sort of like luxuriate in the thing for hours if you want to. So it's convenient and it's flexible that way. It's got to be flexible on the level to sort of be able to accommodate all levels of awareness too. There are, those who are just starting out, with, meditation or yoga or, embodiment, spiritual awakening sort of stuff like this. And then there's people who've been on that journey for a long time. So it's got to be something that could sort of accommodate all of those levels and accommodate you as you grow. Okay. So that leads me to my online embodiment course. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. It's called the Embodied Path online course, 8 steps to expressing your soul's essence, purpose, and calling. And so it's made up of 8 exercises, as is in the name, 8 steps to expressing your soul's essence, purpose, and calling. There are 8 basic exercises that are the core of this course. There are 6 gentle, simple yoga poses. Again, these are not like strength moves. These are a critical part of embodying ourselves, is that there's got to be this deep rest that happens. You can't embody. When our system goes into defense, we sort of like are gripping in our bodies. And so, if you're gritting your teeth doing warrior pose for an hour, like you strengthen muscles. You create more armor in your body. You don't soften the resistance in your body. You don't embody anything, basically. You strengthen your core. That's good. Makes your butt look good. But, it's not going to change your life on any measurable way. So these exercises are really gentle, and they're focused around creating rest in the body and connecting with the energies that are associated with different parts of our spine. I'll talk about that a little bit. There are exercises to connect with the coccyx. The coccyx sort of is about the part of us that connects us to intrinsic self-worth. And then there's the sacrum, and the sacrum is about the part of us that knows who we are and why we're here. And then there's the low back. It's about vulnerability and safety. And then there's the heart, of course. In the heart, we build armor around the heart to keep ourselves from feeling It's kind of like embodiment central, keep ourselves from feeling these different parts of ourselves. Then there's the bottom of the neck. The bottom of the neck houses the part of us that knows what feels true and right, gives us the capacity to say yes when we mean yes and no when we mean no, and it connects us to our soul's calling, what lights us up. There's the top of the neck, which is about control. And all of these different parts of our body, and there are more, but those are kind of some major parts. They house different aspects of our being. And so when our system goes into defense, depending on our wiring, depending on what's happened to us, the stresses, the traumas we've encountered, we store tension in those different areas. And there are these themes show up in people's bodies and lives depending on what combination of how they're holding tension in their body. And I've created there's another whole in-depth blog post about each of those parts of the spine and the parts of ourselves and the energies, the themes that we connect with through those parts of our spine. And I will put that in the description that you can check out. It's probably my most popular blog post. Everyone wants to have that information about what different parts of their spine mean. Then there's one yogic exercise, and the yogic exercise is designed to move chi. I would say that the reason why anything works is because it moves chi. Chi is life force energy. It is a subset of the energy that animates everything in the world, everything in the universe to life. And I would say, I think it's why exercise is so good for depression. I think it's why exercise is so good for all sorts of things, because it moves chi. And chi is the intelligence, again, that animates our body to life. And when we can move that, when chi is stagnant, that's what happens as a result of these survival patterns that are stored in our system. But when we can move chi, that intelligence and the intelligence of all those different parts get to move through our spine and through our awareness. The last thing is a meditation, a mindfulness meditation, a guided mindfulness meditation practice that's simple. And why meditation? I have an analogy for meditation. It's like in all of these things, if we do the yoga poses, we do the yogic exercise, it's like we're sort of stirring things up. Things get all stirred up. Connections that we've gotten comfortable with, that have been safe for many years, but that are also not working. We're sort of stirring that stuff up. It's like if you've ever seen, you take a bunch of iron filings, and the iron filings are all haphazardly piled up. But then if you put a magnet around those iron filings, all of a sudden, boom, they all line up with the field of the magnet, right? The field that the magnetic field that the magnet creates, and they all line up, right? And so meditation really is entraining to source, connecting with source, and all this stuff that gets stirred up in us sort of like lines up with source. Our posture and the tension in our bodies, the energy in our bodies lines up with source. Our physiology lines up with source. Our thoughts line up with source. And in that, we get reorganized, we get rewired. So that's why meditation. I have lots of videos to describe all the concepts that go along that you'll need to know. And so it's a pretty complete course. Oh, and I have other guided meditations to help refine your ability to track and to process the information that's going to come to the surface. There's going to be physical stuff that comes to the surface in your awareness. There's going to be emotional stuff. There's going to be mental talk. There's going to be images. Lots of times when we get overwhelmed by stuff in life, it's because our nervous system has said that's not safe to look at. And we don't have the capacity to track it. We try to I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. This is all unconscious, of course. I don't want to look at it. But it's very beneficial to learn to be able to sort of parse and track your experience. It's crucial, as a matter of fact, for what we're talking about, for embodiment. There are a bunch of bonuses. As if the other stuff wasn't enough, there are a bunch of bonuses with this course. There's a one-on-one online session with me of the online work that I do with people, or a 15 to 30 minute insight session where I just talk with folks. It depends. There's a couple payment options that have more bonuses or less bonuses. So a one-on-one session or a 15 minute to 30 minute insight session with me. There's a twice a week support group that I'm going to be having. And I'm going to do a Facebook group with it. And then you get a free PDF copy of my book, If It Didn't Hurt, How to Resolve Your Pain and Discover Your Life Purpose, which again is a kind of invaluable resource if you're trying to embody your soul's gifts and your soul's essence. Okay, so again, why would we do this? If you want to experience less pain, greater flexibility on all the levels, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. You want to have insights, spiritual insights into, an understanding as to what's happening in your life. If you want to be able to make decisions more easily, if you want to be able to speak your truth in relationship, at work, etc. You want to connect with yourself, nature, God more fully. Ultimately, if you want to give your gifts and live your purpose on the planet, that's what this is for. So I hope this has been interesting or useful. Please like it. Please share it. Please pass it along. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my book at biosoulintegration.com. You can get the first chapter for free there if you want to do that. You can also buy it there. Check out the online course, The Embodied Path. I have trouble coming up with it. The Embodied Path online course. 8 steps to expressing your soul's essence, purpose, and calling. That's really what this video is for. I hope to see you there. Okay? So I look forward to helping you express more life. Have a great day.